everybody. It's Connie. Oh my gosh, it's Wednesday at 2 and I can't believe I'm actually here. You're probably wondering where I have been, and it probably does feel like it's been a while. Hold on, let me adjust my lights. Just trying to cut down some glare. Okay, so yeah. So for those of you who don't know, I had emergency surgery last weekend, and I had an emergency appendectomy. Oh, yippee. It was so much fun. Anyway, so unexpected, of course, and then I don't know, it just seemed like it's taken me a little longer to get back on my feet than I expected. I know a lot of times appendectomies are very quick and easy surgeries, and people tend to get over them very quickly because they don't have big surgical wounds and all of this, but yeah, I just didn't bounce back. I don't know. So it's taken me a week to get back in my craft room and get back on track again, and here I am. And I have all kinds of projects planned. Oh my goodness, I have so many projects planned. And yeah, I was gonna do a scrapbook layout of my sunflowers and stuff, and I decided, no, I need to get my mojo back, and I feel inspired by this paper. Oh my gosh. Okay, so this paper pack is called the Lights of Aurora, and it is 6x6 paper. The number is 165755. It will be available like September 3rd, whatever that first Tuesday is. I think it's the 3rd. Maybe it's the 2nd. I've lost track of the dates. But when the mini catalog goes live, the online exclusives go live, there's new kits, there's new papers. It's so exciting. Oh my gosh, so much new stuff. And as a demonstrator, you know, we got to do some pre-ordering, and I already scrapbooked my Aurora Lights photos that I have. I have a few more I can do, which I'll probably use this paper for, but I had some other ideas for this, and so I'm going to show you the different patterns. You get a lot of paper. As a matter of fact, I was kind of thinking, there's no way I'm using all this paper. If any of you just want to try a sheet or two of it or something, let me know. My gosh. So the paper, you get, I think, 6 of each pattern. This is one pattern, and the back is like a nice kind of blue wash color. And then here is another pattern. Now this pattern is one of my favorites of the pack. I don't know, is there a favorite? I don't know. They're all really beautiful, and they even showed the artist who created this paper and how she used chalks and dragged this down, how you could get your own effects and things. It looks very cool. The paper is very neat. This one has like a black background. And then we have this one that's sort of wispy looking. I don't know which direction, probably that direction. I don't know. And then the back of it has this like pink tone. It's really beautiful. And then there's this pattern, which has a purple background. So you get a lot. You get a lot of each sheet. This one with all the multicolors is really cool, and the background of it is purple. So you can see they layer nicely, and they would make a really cool Aurora Lights page. And then we have this one that has the green background, and yeah, wow, look at all of the fun that you can have with these papers. I mean, think about, so then my immediate thought, I know this sounds really weird, but my immediate thought was Halloween, because I have some plans for this paper that are Halloweeny, and then, I don't know, I just really like it. So I'm going to pull out a few sheets just to play with. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what we do today. Anyway, so I was thinking Halloween. And then another demonstrator, and I so wish I would have written her name down. I'm so sorry I can't give credit. But she used the Aurora Lights paper to make like Christmas card. And look at that with the white embossed images from Shepherd's Care. Now I think she used a new set. There's another secular set in the new catalog options, and I did not purchase it, but I had this one and it's still active. And I just think with that paper, wow. Just wow. And I started kind of playing around with the different backgrounds to see, like, does it look good on black? Does it look good on blue? And you know what? It looks good on all of them because all of those colors are in the catalog. And so you can imagine a little piece on earth right here, maybe a couple of gems in with the stars. I just think, just wow, right? It's a wow. So anyway, I'm moving on to something weird, and you're just gonna have to humor me because I did something different with it, and I want to make some Halloween cards. And so here's what I did. I got out some of my Halloween stuff. I used that paper as the sky background, keeps me from having to blend everything, right? And I just made kind of a fun Halloween card, and I just want to play around a little bit today. So let me show you what I got out today to play with. There's a bunch. Hold on, I'll put this behind me so I don't forget where I put it. So here's the thing. I have a lot of Halloween. And it's not all just Stampin' Up. I have a lot of, over the years, I buy like 1 or 2 sets a year, and I kind of purge as I go, but I always try to keep a certain amount of Halloween on hand so that I can pull them out and get inspired. So this is from last year, and it is retired, but I know a lot of you have it, and you can see the cauldron and the cat and the books, all good. So I definitely wanted to use that again. This is the one from this year with the little cat and dog, and they're trick-or-treating, and it's got a little haunted house die that is really great right there. And this one is a lot of fun. This one also has a couple of bats. And then this one has the labels, has the spider webs, eek and boo, and the spider. And I was like, okay, just that alone is probably plenty for me to figure something out. But no, I keep going. Let me grab some other stuff that I pulled out. My other Stampin' Up, this one retired last year. It doesn't look Halloween-y at all, but it certainly could be. Anything you stamp in black in silhouette could look creepy if you put it in the right scene. But the reason I keep this with my Halloween stamps is this right here. And actually, this looks really pretty with winter also, like if you did it in birch trees or whatever. But I cut out a few of these, and you can see they look a little creepy. I made some of those cards last year that looked a little creepy. Hi, Margie. The other the other set, this one right here is new as an online exclusive that will be available in the first week in September. And this is like the scrapbooking stamp set that goes with the kind of the scrapbooking papers. And I love this little crow. Oh my gosh, I love it. And I love all the little candies and the titles are great. This is a really nice set for Halloween. And then I have a few of my own extras that I got out. So I have the Sizzix Tim Holtz Witch, and I also have the Crafter's Companion Witch, which is the one I use today. And there's a cat. Impression Obsession has these scenery style dies. I should show them right side up so you can see what I'm talking about. But they make really neat silhouettes, spooky silhouettes, and they're really fun. I was going to use my Stampolistic Mummy, but I did not get a chance to do anything with him. Anyway, so what I'm trying to say is I cut a whole bunch of pieces out, and these are the little creepy silhouette scenes. I did some trees that are out of glitter and, you know, all kinds of really neat things to make a scene. And then I also did a witch and a cat, a couple of cats, a bunch of bats and crows. Look at that crow. Isn't he cute? And then I also did some inside messages using that Stampin' Up set. And this is the retired set with the goose. That, I tell you what, that goose in that retired set is going to be a winner. You're going to see it over and over from me every year. And there's that little haunted house. I cut it out of glitter paper. I'm thinking I can do something with that. I have some spiders. I have everything. Okay, so there you go. There's what I have. And I wanted to show you a couple of little tips. If you want to cut something out, you don't have the cardstock, or you're lazy like me, I usually just grab a marker or something and scribble all over the paper, and then put my die cut on and cut it. And what you end up with is something, you end up with like kind of, it has a shadowed, marbled appearance, right? So it keeps flipping upside down. But you can kind of see it ends up being sort of mottled, and you don't have to do any shading or anything, and that's just with a marker that you scribble all over and then cut. And so that's really fun, a fun way to do that. The other thing is, when I did these crows, there's no die cuts for this set, unfortunately. So you'd have to fussy cut. And I did not want that sharp, I'm not that great of a fussy cutter, but I did not want that sharp white around the edge. And so what you can do is I pounced it with a dauber of blue or black ink. I think I used Night of Navy here. And then you don't have to be a really close fussy cutter, because you're not going to get that stark crazy white around there. It's going to somewhat blend in with your sky, and that way, you know, like if I use this as a sky, you can see it's not just white. And I could even, you know, sponge on more around the edge if I wanted to. All right, so there's some ideas. Now, the other thing that I really wanted to do that I think is really fun, you guys probably think I'm crazy, but I just really like how some of these papers look, and some of them have more darkness in them than others. Maybe I'll use this one. I don't know. Don't you think that would be really cool as coming out of the cauldron? I mean, come on, isn't that neat? Look at that. Aww. Right? That's how I was thinking of Halloween. And then, you know, you put the bats over as an overlay, or the crow as an overlay in the sky, and you've got your witch. So you could see it'll make a really cool scene, right? So that's just, you know, just for funsies. And then, all right, so let's go ahead and do this one. So what I want to do, I got out my white pigment ink, and I have this Tim Holtz stencil. I do not know what year this is from. It's old. I have no idea if it's still available or not. I have no idea. But basically it's eyeballs. And I also have that Scrappy Boy eyeball one, which is really fun. I have, you know, I have a variety. Now, keep in mind that most cards are going to be 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and this is 6 by 6 paper. So I probably should cut this down. Let me cut it to 5 1/4 by 4. That way I can put like a little border on it. That way you can get an idea of how big that card really is going to be. Not that big. All right, I'm going to zoom in just a little more. I want you to be able to see. Okay, now I am just going to put some eyeballs on here. And when you use pigment ink with a stencil, it is best not to smear like this. It's best to pounce. First of all, if you pounce, you end up getting a bolder amount, a bigger amount of ink, and it won't just blend into your paper. Do you see that? And also, if you do the smeary thing, you will likely have problems with it getting under your stencil because this pigment ink is so thick. So, and then I'm just gonna do this one. And then that takes a minute to dry. Isn't it fun? Oh my gosh, it shows up on there so well. And I just think that looks really, really neat. And so I usually hit that with my heat tool, or you could actually emboss it. I really don't want to do more embossing today. So I'm just gonna heat it a little bit. And it's not dry completely, so I'm gonna set that one aside for a minute. And then I have this one that I did earlier, and it's dry. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut this one down to the 5 1/2 by 4 1/4. And we'll just make a scene. Make a scene. All right, so I wanna use my creepy trees, and I want to put this over that. And do you see how the eyeballs peek through the trees? Oh my gosh, that's cool. On the back of this, I really want to put some foam. So it stands out just a little bit on my card. And it looks a little more dimensional when I add my different layers. Okay, and I probably need to get out my sticky strips from Stampin' Up. These strips from Stampin' Up are pretty amazing, although they're thicker than my other foam, but that's what I would put up here. I'm gonna hold off on that for a bit. All right, so I have this that will stand out just a little. And then the other thing that I cut out these types of scenes. This one has pumpkins and a graveyard and a tree. I'm not sure I want another tree in there or not. And then the other scene has just a graveyard. They're all hanging up on each other. Okay, and then you can kind of see that in the background, and you can move it around and you know, make whatever parts show that you want. Too creepy? I don't know. I don't know. But I love how I'm trying to decide which one I like. I think that one. I think I will do that one. All right. Now I cut it out in black and I cut it out in gray. And the reason I cut it out in two colors is because I thought for sure that the black with the silhouette would be what I wanted, all black. But then I was thinking it all starts looking blendy, and it might be nice to have a different color silhouette. And so that's why I grabbed the gray, thinking maybe the gray. We'll see. Okay, so there's that. Temporary decision. The other thing that I kind of thought would look good in here is a haunted house. Now, I could have done the haunted house all in silhouette. I could have done it in black. But here what I did was I cut it out and I put some gold behind the windows so that it would look like the lights were on. And it was so bold that I took my same pouncer and I pounced over it to try to darken up that gold a little bit. It was too bright in there. But I just think that the house looks really cool in the background, and when you kind of put this in the scene, you can see the house. Now you can move these anywhere you want. Now I think I'm going to move it over a little. That's pretty cool. I like it. I'm still not sure about this tree that's in my way. Let me grab one of the others real quick. I apparently cut a lot of the tree one. I don't know. Sorry, I'm reaching across the camera where you can't even see what I'm doing. All right, so maybe if I do this, where you can see the graveyard off to the side. Ew, creepy, creepy. I kind of like that idea though. That's really neat looking, right? Okay, yeah, I'm gonna do that. So basically what I need to do is trim this off because I don't need the whole thing, and I don't think I want these here. So let's get those out of the way. This will be up here, and then this scene will be here. I think that's awesome. Fun, fun, fun. And then on the outside of it, I don't know if it'll muddy it up or not, but I can take some of a tree and put it kind of on the outside. I think it doesn't add to it. So we definitely need some ink, and we maybe put a giant pumpkin in here, poking through the trees. I think I can make him pop up a little better. Like that. That's pretty cool. And then I think I need some bats. Now, one of the things I did, I got out Halloween, fall, Christmas. These are all times for all these really cool specialty papers. Anything foiled, like this one has like a foil mirror look, or glitter, like the glitter house. All of these add a lot to the scene. And so I am going to build my card like this. And then at the bottom, I definitely need like a message, like, and it could be anything. I have gobs. These are kind of more fun. Don't worry, eat sweets. Or double, double, toil and trouble. A little hocus pocus. I could just eat, drink, and be scary. Or trick or treat. I have, oh, ooh, that's fun. Let's see. So look through your stuff, see what you've got. I cut out a whole bunch of different ones, but I really like this. I really like this a lot. I think that's really cute. I feel like I need a little, I feel like I need a ghost or something on here, and that would be perfect. But there's my first card. I'm not going to glue it all together yet because I want to make a few, and so I just want to show you like some of the things that I think would be really fun. Look at that. I'm going to show you close up. Isn't it great how the eyeballs show through the trees? And look how cool that paper is with the sky. It adds the light areas and the dark areas for you, so you don't have to like blend that and make your own. Please, I love it. All right, my other one is pretty dry. I basically would do this similar kind of thing. Maybe I don't want to do all the trees on it. Maybe I just want to do some of these like creepy trees in the background. I could do this right here. Maybe I'll do that one in black. I'm reaching over again, getting to my stuff, but you can see I can put this here. I could put a tree off to the side. It's kind of creepy. And I could put my giant crow. It makes it look like it's really close. Or I could do bats again. And I really I like the eek. I like the eek. Isn't that great? I just love it. I just love it. Now the other trick, when you have all this silhouette stuff, sometimes you need some shadows and things, just to make it look like there's moonlight shining down, or maybe you want to put in a moon, you know, like make that like it's shining. I still really like the crow. I need to use the crow. And then, but you can use your Jelly Roll pens and just kind of do a little line here or there like this, like a highlight almost. And you don't want it to be too perfect, if that makes sense. The other thing, that you can do is you can take that pigment ink and a little bitty dauber or a brush. Now this is an old chalk brush. It's like a cotton swab, and you can use a Q-tip. A Q-tip would work better than this. This is too small, kind of. I just don't have a Q-tip on me. But you could totally pick up some of that ink and just swab it on to a few areas to add a few highlights, and you want it to look a little bit sketchy. You don't want to be like following this so perfectly that it's all just like a line here, a line there. You want this to be sketchy and spooky looking, okay? And like this moon is catching it, like the light. And I'm just gonna scrub some of that on so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, I'll hold that up. See if I can do this without dumping everything. But you can kind of see, I just sort of sketched on some of that white pigment. I didn't do anything too special to it, but it is super fun. Super fun. The other thing that you could do whenever you have like openings like this, you could take a color and show through it. So like if I had a scrap of yellow, I could put it behind the jack-o'-lantern faces and, you know, make it look like they're lit up. I don't want to do that right now, but there you go. So I'm going to cut this off right here. And here is my, there is my card, essentially. Now, this piece is only cut to 4 by 5 1/4, which means I'm gonna have a border. So if I, for example, use a green card base, that green card base is gonna show behind the card. It'll have like a border around it. So think about that before you cut your paper down. Sometimes I just keep some panels so that I can just slide that on there. You could just cut the paper to the right size, right? You could just cut it just like the other one where you cut it to the exact size of your card, but I kind of like having that black border. The other thing, I mean, on this one, on the other one, you could ink the black a little bit, but you can see that black border kind of makes the white in that pop. Do you see the difference in that? I mean, it really does make a difference. And so awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay, there's number 2. All right, I'm gonna do one more and then we'll call it done. Let's see, what should we do? Which paper shall we use? Let's do a cauldron one. And I don't know if it really even matters. How about if we do this one? And I'm gonna go ahead and cut this down to 4 by 5 1/4 and see what we can do with that. Sorry, I'm cutting it off camera, which is so rude. All right, now the other thing is I want a background on this one, and so I might want it to be in purple, I might want it to be in black like the other one, but I have it set up so that there will be a background. So let me see what the green will look like. Fold my card a little bit. I should score that. The Stampin' Up cardstock, the 8.5 by 11, is still solid core, and it's a very nice heavy weight for making cards. I like how that looks in green. It's kind of creepy looking, so let's just try it. Okay, now on this one, I want to use the witch, and I want to use the cauldron. Now, I cut the cauldron out of a specialty cardstock that's like glossy black, and then I cut this out of glitter paper, and I just think that looks really neat. Okay, let me get out my glue. This one I'm gonna glue. I'm gonna go ahead and put this on. You can see, like, you could put it on a panel. Like, you can put anything, like if you put that as your background, that's a cool panel. It wouldn't have to be this mossy, weird green, but I'm trying to make it look a little creepy. All right, now, before I attach this, I want to get some things bobbing and floating into this. So, gotta find some things. I have bubbles like crazy. I have some candy corn, and I have a pumpkin head, which I think would be kind of fun. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna make a line right here of glue, because I know my cauldron will be like right there. And I'm just gonna start putting things on here that I think look cool. It's probably not the way most people would do it. On other cards, you know, I would put a line of glue on here and glue it to the back, but this way you can see what I'm doing and get a better idea for what I'm putting in there. I'm just gonna float some candy. I need to get a hold of that with my fingers. And I like this. Okay. I really, tell me that doesn't look really cute. Look at that. Ooh. All right, I love it. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and now glue on my cauldron. And you could use foam. You could pop that up if you wanted to. The other thing that I have for the cauldron that I cut out is a hand, like a stir stick. There is a stirring stick that is part of that set that you can cut. And I just think, you know, that's kind of a cool idea. Now, I'm gonna cut it shorter. And I cut this out of, you can't tell it on camera, you can't tell, but I cut it out of a wood grain style cardstock, and yeah, you can't really see that texture, but it looks like wood. It looks like a wooden stick on there. I think that's fun. All right, so here we have our witch, and again, our witch that I have, I didn't color one in. It would be really cute to have the little trick-or-treaters on there or something, but I want this witch to kind of stand out, and she doesn't necessarily. She kind of starts blending in with everything. So I'm going to do that trick again with the white daisy ink. I'm going to get out my Q-tip thing again and tap it into the ink, and then I am just going to kind of sketch around a little bit of her hat. The idea is to make it look more like highlights, not outlines, and enough to where like she won't just blend in with the background. I like using Q-tips and stuff like this because it looks more sketchy than if you use a colored pencil or a watercolor pencil or an ink pen. So that's kind of what I did. I don't know. I think it makes her stand out a little bit better. And I do think she needs to be popped up just a little bit. She's standing in front of the cauldron. So I'll put one of these here and one up by her hat. And I think let's see if I can do this without it showing. Now, obviously, this thing is way too detailed to put foam tape on, like all of it. But I could put a dot of glue here and there. So that she won't, her broom wouldn't get caught by somebody trying to open the card or something, you know what I mean? Like, it's nice to have this part right here glued down, and then her shoes, just so that, you know, these pieces aren't flying up. That's really cool. Okay. We have this really neat background. Look at how cool that paper looks. I really love it. I do like the idea of having either a cat or some books or something down here. I have several options. I have this cat, which is black, which came with this set, but look, blended in. Even if I put something behind his eyes, he's not going to show. He's just too dark. And then I have this one from the Stampin' Up set, which he is really cute. Really cute. I love the cat. I could put another pumpkin. And I cut out another little stack of books. I like that. I like that a lot. Let's do that. And then we'll put that down there. And I'll go ahead and what I did on these pumpkins, and if you, like I said, if you have any kind of image that has like a peek through, you can always put cardstock on the back and make it show through. See how its face is yellow? It looks like it's lit up on the inside. I like that. Fun. Now, I need a message. I love the double toil and trouble. Right? That's cool. And I have gobs of little stars in there. Can you see all those little stars? And so stars and bubbles, you know, floating through, and ideally kind of following the way the sky looks. That's kind of a neat idea. I have purple, which almost doesn't show up. I have blue. I'm not sure about the blue. I'm not sure how I feel about the blue, but the other, see, the purple almost doesn't show though. See that? So blue it is. And maybe I need another tiny bubble at the top. Gosh, that's awesome. And I don't even think I have room for the eek, but I could put it on the inside or something. Let me go ahead and real quick glue my pieces down. And so what I like to do is pick it up, put the glue here, and then pop it down like that. And this glue dries totally clear, and so you won't see the white of glue around it after it's dry. Wow, that's really fun. That is really fun. Oh my gosh. I kind of wanted to use a moon, but it just looks too weird. There's no room for it. I'd have to do like a much bigger card or a different kind of scene, but I really love how this looks. I really love it. All right, so And I like the candy corn in here. I could put another little piece down here. Cool. Okay, so look at that. That's really neat. Now on the inside of the card, I used that Stampin' Up set from this year. Let me grab it so you can see what I'm talking about. It's called Fright Night, and it's got a lot of stuff. It's got the spider webs. It's got the little labels that you can make, tags. And what I did was I stamped this one in Balmy Blue, or was it Pool Party? I think it was Balmy Blue. And I intentionally used the ink cube and I smudged it back and forth when I applied the ink to make it look smeary. And I did that on purpose because I liked how that looked better than some of the blotchier things that I was getting with it. And so I think whenever you use something for the first time, like the red rubber or the photopolymer, you've got to use it, stamp it on scratch paper, stamp it on something, clean it off several times. You want that to really be free of any manufacturing oils or anything that might be on there that don't give you that nice clean impression. I'm gonna go ahead and apply a spider web because this is that time of year, man. The spiders, oh my God, I'm scared of spiders. All right, I'm just gonna hold that down for a sec. And then I'm gonna go ahead and put some bubbles on here. And I think I need a spider, don't you? Let's see. I've cut both purple and black spiders. I'll use a purple one. And I need to make his, what is that called? Spinneret? No, spinneret's what's on their feet, right? To make them shoot out the little thing. I don't know what that's called. But there you go. Isn't that fun? And I can add a few little stars. I think that would be fun. I just keep adding, and this is the inside of the card, and I'm going crazy. So you can kind of see Halloween. Oh my gosh. And look how fun that is. Oh my gosh. What a great card, right? I love it so much. So, okay, let's wrap this up. Let me show you what I've done one more time. I have this card. I have this one that I have not glued with the eek and the eyeballs. And I'll just trim that edge off after everything is glued down. I have this one that has the scene that you can like peek into. It's almost like a diorama, you know, where it's different layers. And then this is on the outside and it's popped up just a little. And I feel like I might get out my smaller eyeball stencil and put a few eyeballs along the bottom. I think that would be fun. I also have some wiggle balls, like wiggle eyes. That might be kind of fun in the trees. Here is the one that I showed you initially that I made a head, very similar to this one. I used a bat up at the top and I used different paper. You can see I used a different type of sky. And then, of course, the more Christmassy one, that I got that idea from another demonstrator, which I thought, oh my gosh, that's a cool idea. This one needs a message and it needs some bling, but it's a great idea and I wanted to share that with you. All right. I hope you love my ideas, and I will see you Friday. I'll try to do something more fall, not so creepy Halloween-y. I was just in the mood to get out some of my Halloween stuff, and I'm just gonna make a few more cards and put this Halloween stuff away so I can focus on the new things that are coming out in September. And thank you everyone for all your kind messages and wishes for healing, because I really do feel a lot better, and now that a few days has passed, it's amazing how time helps with healing. It's great. So have a fabulous afternoon. Bye-bye.